I'm ready to let go into the arms of spirit, into the arms of spirit. Well, it seems like forever that I've been holding on, hoping for things to get better with each new dawn. Well, the years roll by, it took some time for me to know, well, the only way to get there, I have to let go. So, I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go into the arms of spirit, into the arms of spirit, into the arms of spirit, into the arms of spirit.
Oh, thank you so much, Bodhi, so much. You know, this is a really great time of the year to release. What we talked about, first of all, was to remember, and then release, and then reignite. And what's fun about the whole idea about reigniting is it allows us to find our passion, our way of doing things. The theme for today is to shed our skin. So think about a snake that doesn't think too much about it, but maybe his skin is becoming tight and brittle, and just instinctually just keeps moving and sheds his skin, a very graceful way of doing that. Releasing can be like that for us. It can be that easy that we recognize something that no longer serves us and we go, well, I'm letting that go. But other times we are a little more resistant, or we wonder what will be if we let go of that. Or it just becomes so inherent in who we are, we don't even recognize that it's a problem because we just accept it as that's who we are. What I often think of release as like a blackberry bush. I don't know if you know, have ever had to deal with a blackberry bush in your backyard or your property. They are like a weed, and they keep growing and getting bushier and thornier and can take over your whole garden or your whole yard. It obviously no longer serves you. You can't move around. There's just a lot of thorns there, right? You can't even get to the berries, or you might be able to get to a few of them, but they're hard. So the first thing you might want to do is just to cut it all down. But guess what? It comes back because it's the roots, the varied beliefs. Now, sometimes our own beliefs, it's easy. We can just cut it back. We can contain it. It won't continue to grow. But sometimes we need to dig up the entire root system. We have to do a little more inner process. We have to really be consciously saying this no longer serves us. And the other thing is we need to plant something else in its place. We need to dig up the roots, put new soil in, and plant something in its place, something new, a new vision. So it's not enough to release. We need to create an intention about the experience we want. We are aware of, if this is our intention, if this is what we want to create, we're aware there are obstacles. And to tell you the truth, sometimes I know it's not working. I know I'm not able to create exactly what I want, but I don't know what beliefs there are that stand in the way. So I have a phrase about all beliefs, known or unknown, I release. Known or unknown, I release. So I keep my eye on the intention, my focus on the intention, that which I want to create. And when I experience something less than that intention, I just can re-choose. That's the great thing about intentions is it's different than resolutions. Resolutions, can I have the slide on the resolutions and intentions, the contrasting those two? So, so these intentions, like on one side you find that intentions are, they're more open, they're consciously created, they're broader experiences and ways of being. Versus resolutions tend to be specific, result-oriented goals that can sometimes feel rigid, that are either achieved or broken. Resolutions come and go. Some people say in 1 year and out the other. Well, intentions continue to inspire us to grow and evolve. Also, intentions invite self-compassion. You know, if we don't meet a certain goal, like let's say we had to exercise 4 times a week or go to the gym 3 times a week. That is so definite. When we only go 2 times or exercise only 3 times, we're short of that goal. We feel like a failure. Versus if we have an intention of being healthy, that can include body, mind, and spirit health. It can include meditation, taking time just to be out in nature, paying attention to the food we eat, and if it's healthy. And sometimes if we have a meal that's not healthy, we go, okay, I'm gonna intend to eat healthier. And yes, movement, exercise, but there's not a rigid way of doing that. If we only get 2 walks in a week instead of 3, we're going, okay, but that is still being healthier. I'm moving towards that health. And it's this experience of health we seek that they are. And resolutions, if they're not met, can lead to disappointment and this sense of failure. Intentions create a space for growth and transformation. It's almost like a journey that opens up previously unknown pathways. A psychologist, Diana Robb, says that an intention is something you want to manifest in your life or some guiding principle that you want to live by. It is the beginning of a dream or desire for something you want in your life. But what's great about intentions, if we experience something less than what we want in our intentions, then we simply re-choose, recommit to that intention. And I think what you'll find is when we have intentions and we experience something less than intentions, we get another opportunity to look at our beliefs. And sometimes it's a very core beliefs about perhaps we didn't feel heard growing up, or we didn't feel worthy growing up, or that we weren't important and not strong enough or enough, period. So we get to look at those if we're in a place of intentions and we're just re-choosing. Okay, that's not exactly what I intended, so I need to look at that a little bit. And maybe you don't see anything in particular. Remember, beliefs known and unknown. We just recommit to ourselves and sometimes to friends and family, partners. My intention is this. This is what I'm seeking to do. I appreciate your support. I know I didn't quite do it this time, and this is what I'm recommitting to you, recommitting to myself, this intention. And that way it's an ongoing journey that we open up, that we create. So today we're going to do a ritual, and I'm going to tell you more details about it, but just to walk you through this idea of the ritual is you have a piece, you can go ahead and get that out in your envelope. You'll see a purple piece of paper in there. This is called flash or wish paper. It's also a little pencil in there, and you can use the envelope just to write on if you need something to write on. So in a few minutes, we're going to talk about what you're going to write on there, but I just want your, just the basic things. So we're going to write something on it, and then you're going to burn it in this bowl, and I'll talk more about that later. You're also going to create an intention around what you are seeking to create. Now, your announcement sheet has some extra room on the back of it for you to write any notes you want to when it gets to that intention part. But also, in a few minutes, you're going to be given a stone that you'll just write something that, like a word to remind you of that intention. You won't have room to write the whole intention, but just a word on it, and I'll be passing those stones out. But the reason for the stones that look like this, back in ancient Rome, when a prisoner was released from prison, they were given a white stone that didn't have anything at all on it. And that represented a blank slate, that they were free of their debts or whatever it was that they were imprisoned for. They were free now, and they can create their own life. But also, it was if somebody stopped them and said, hey, you're supposed to be in jail. Did you escape? They could pull out of their pocket or their bag the stone and go, no, I was released. And they would celebrate. Their friends would celebrate that they have been released and that they are free. And what you'll be doing is writing on this stone, because the new year is a new start. You've been released from the imprisonment of 2025. Some people say, thank God. And you'll be writing on this a phrase of your intention. And I don't know about you, but I have last year's one on my altar. Some people keep it in different places, that they just as a reminder of what that is. Some people keep it in their bag or their pocket, and they pull it out as a reminder or a touchstone. That you go, okay, this is my intention. This is it. So a daily affirmation in that way. Okay? So I'd like to begin by this release process. So I'd like you just to close your eyes for a moment. And just take a deep breath, connecting with your sense of the divine within you and around you. Maybe you already have a sense of what you want your life to be, the life of your choosing. What is getting in the way of that? What keeps you from being more connected with yourself, with others, with spirit? What's keeping you from being in joy? From opening your heart wider? From being free to be you and to connect with wisdom and beauty and radiance? To create space just to be, without feeling like you're always busy in your brain, busy in your life, just finding space to be. To be compassionate towards yourself and others. What keeps that from happening? And when you're ready, you can take your pencil and write on your purple piece of paper. And, because it's a pencil and nobody's going to look at it, you can write as many words on there as you want to. So go ahead and begin that when you're ready. If you're online, you can take your paper and write it on your paper that's nearby. And like I said before, you can either burn it or rip it up and throw it away. But you can just write on a separate piece of paper to do that. In order to reignite your life, sometimes you need to ignite something to let it go. So you'll be releasing it into the fire. And what we know in that process of doing that, like most rituals that you can do, you're not really burning up a belief, you're burning up a representation of it, but your soul and your heart know what you're doing. And things will shift in your life just by releasing, as long as we claim something to fill that vacuum. It's contained, don't worry. So in a moment, I'm going to invite you by rows to come up. And depending on your comfort level, you can wad it up and throw it in there. Or you can simply just kind of reach out and throw it in there to let go of it. And you can say something to yourself, I let go of whatever it is you're letting go of. You can speak it to yourself. You can speak it out loud. We can have 3 or 4 people up here at a time doing that. So I'm going to start with just this very front row right here, these 4 people right here. And you can gather around the table in different ways whenever you're ready. And then these 4 people here. And then these 4 people here. And then Bodhi, if you want to come up, and Linda, Patricia, Peggy, if you want to come up. And then this row back here with Diana, all of you guys. Oh, okay, it'll be fine. And it would be fine if you just let it go too, because it burns itself up. So. And then the back row back here with Lori, the whole back row back there. You can come out, yeah, come right through that way. It's okay. It's okay. You don't need it. It'll put itself out. It's okay. You don't need to grab it. Matter of fact, it'll fly. You've consumed the fire. It's okay. But by the time it drops down, the flame is gone. Okay, where are we at? Right here, and all these area. Everybody else over here who's not gone. And then the back row back here. And then also the row here with Jeff and Kit. You can come up too. Anybody on this side who hasn't gone yet can come up. This is wish paper, so sometimes you'll see it fly up. If we do, I'll provide it. Oh, okay. They need to hold on to, no, they don't need to hold on to their pencil. Okay. I think we can do that on the way out. Is there anybody else that needs to? Anybody I missed, back or front? So we're passing out, for those online, we're passing out, and those here, we're passing out the stones now. These are the white stones that you can use. So people online, you want to get a new piece of paper. Hopefully you've released yours by now. You've ripped it up, thrown it away, burned it, whatever you've done with it. So get a fresh piece of paper out, and on this one you can begin to write about your intentions. And for those of you who are waiting to receive the white stone, there are also on your paper, your announcement paper. That's why I wanted you to hold on to those pencils so you can use those. Just begin to make notes about your intentions for a minute, and I'll guide you through a process in just a minute. All right, let's find our, well, wait, I'm just waiting until everybody gets those stones. If you didn't get a stone, could you please raise your hand? So Monica up here too, and back there. Here, I'll take them. And then if we could just pass them back here to the back. Okay, there we go. All right, we're getting them back now. So the pins, the permanent markers, we don't have enough for everybody. So if you could just share those when we get to that, but don't write on there yet. Let's just close our eyes for a moment now. So what we know in this moment is that there is within you a deep wisdom. It's a wisdom of the ages, connected to the universal wisdom, connected to spirit. And there is something emerging in you that is more powerful than you can ever imagine. Maybe you know it by name, a word you've been thinking about. And yet there is something deeper that is embodied in you, that is emerging as this new intention, this new way of being, this new freedom, this new way of living and loving. That you are free, and now that you've released things, you are free to claim that which is seeking to be known, seeking for you to create and be in your life. And what's beautiful about this universe, as the poet Rumi said, that which you are seeking is seeking you also. So just allow yourself, you can open your eyes now and you can make notes on your piece of paper, kind of clarify. You could write out a whole intention, something like, I move freely and confidently, embracing the wisdom, beauty, and radiance of my truth. Or I open my heart wider to myself and my friends, to spirit. I create space to be, to breathe, to be quiet, to listen. So whatever you want to. And then when you are ready, write a word or two that represents those things that you are creating on your white stone. And like I said, we'll need to share those markers. And for those of you online, you're welcome to write on your piece of paper. Some make it a sacred ritual of where you're going to keep it. And you may want to do, like other people do, and here too, do vision boards based on this intention as well, about to give some visual images of it. Or just bring it into your meditation time about, let's say your word is freedom. Like in the morning you wake up and you go, how can I express freedom today? Or how can I be free today? How can I open my heart wider today? How can I create space, sacred space in my life? So just to open up your days and do that. So I'll give you a few minutes to complete that. If you haven't written on your stone and you need a marker, raise your hand or ask your neighbor for a pen. Anybody still need a pen? And if there's one back here, they need one at the sound table too. As you finish, I'd like you to gather in groups of 2 or 3 or even 4, who's ever right around you, and just share what your word is for 2026. We don't have a lot of time for this, but you can just say, my word is, or you can say a sentence, but not a deep, long story about it, okay? We don't have time for that. But go ahead and turn towards your neighbors and just share your stone and share a little bit about that. And those online, you're welcome to put it in the chat if you want to do that, what your word is for the year. One more minute, wrap up your thoughts. Make sure everybody has had a chance to say something. Anybody want to speak out your word? Just speak it out to the whole group. Power in your intention. How about we'll start over here. Anybody want to speak out your word? Courage. What was it back there? Inner peace. Inspiration. Positivity. Love. Truth. Say it again. Trust. Be love. Deep. Deeper presence. Peace. Great. Perfect health. Beautiful. See the love. Beautiful. Well, thank you, everybody, for being a part of this, and please do take them home. There'll be a basket on your way out to draw pencils and envelopes and all that stuff for now. You can just set it down or wherever you want to do that. And we're going to have a song.